The Solo Show is brought to you by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Coming up on The Solo Show.
Okay, so this one originally aired from 1951 to 1959. So, like Cory, I'm a little bit out of the decade.
You cheaters. You guys are cheaters.
Well, hang on. It then returned from 1969 to 1970, so it did hit the 70s.
Stan, Cory, and Ken are together again in the Solo Studios for a look back at our favorite TV themes of the 70s. Coming up next on The Solo Show.
Walt Disney once said, "If we can dream it, we can do it." If your dream is to live near Disney World, then you can do it, and I can help. Hi, I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and I would appreciate the opportunity to make your dream a reality. I can help you decide which is best for you, a new construction home or pre-owned, based on your needs for size, neighborhood, and most importantly, your budget. How do I do that? Well, it's quite simple. I listen to what you want, and by using my experience as a realtor specializing in homes near Disney World for almost 15 years, I can find you the home you will love. Visit celebratingflorida.com and take your first step to making your dream a reality. I encourage you to create a free, no obligation account on my website. By doing so, you'll unlock the website's full potential and be able to enter specific criteria, save listings, and browse new properties sent to you by email. Remember, if you can dream it, we can do it.
Remember that website, celebratingflorida.com. And when you meet Victor, be sure to tell him The Solo Show sent you.
This is the story of three podcasters sharing a small studio space. Can they produce a show together without driving each other crazy?
Broadcasting from the Solo Studios, cleverly hidden in a shipping container somewhere in Winnipeg, Manitoba, in the center of North America, on this little planet we call Earth, this is The Solo Show. On the show this time, we welcome back Cory Johnson and Ken the voiceover guy for part 2 of our look back at our favorite TV themes of the 70s. Now, I gotta tell you, Cory and Stan cheat a lot, but it still makes for a good time and a great show. So now, please welcome your host. Hey Stan, did I tell you that I recently lost a bet with your favorite co-host, Dan Hansen? Yeah, I had to eat an alarm clock as a punishment. It was very time-consuming.
You need to fire that guy, Stan.
Here's Stan Solo.
Hello and welcome to another edition of The Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always, and joining me today are two more Winnipeggers. We're back. The three of us are back again to continue part 2 of our 70s theme songs. This time we're going to do 70s theme music, basically songs without words, songs without lyrics. Joining us, Cory, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How are you both?
We're doing great. We're doing great. Thank you for coming back.
You're welcome.
It's pretty impressive. He came back, Ken. Ken,
Well,
how are you doing?
I'm doing great as always, Stan. You know, I'm always happy to jump in another episode here, especially where we're talking about one of my favorite subjects here.
Yes, I know you're the music guy. That's why I thought you'd like this one. And Cory's a music guy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we last left off. We did our favorite 70s theme songs with lyrics. You don't have to turn it off and run and listen to that one first. Doesn't matter if you listen to this one first or that one first.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just and it got me thinking. There's a lot of good theme music that came out, and that's one of the things about today's television is there isn't a lot of opening theme song. Can you guys name a couple that are airing nowadays? The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
They have their theme music.
The only one I can think of immediately off the top of my head is Law and Order still uses theirs.
Okay, it's not just dun dun.
Well, no, they're one of the few that still has that their theme still played. But I mean, not many. There's very few now.
Yeah. How about you, Cory? Can you think of any off the top? I'm kind of throwing this at you guys. I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question.
There is so few that if they have, I don't even recognize it now. It's the good stuff was back in the 70s.
Yeah. So that's why I figured it was a good decade to check. So let's get right into it. Cory, why don't you start us off?
Well, it was a movie. it became a TV series, and I'm talking about Battlestar Galactica. And fantastic theme. If you like classical music, which I kind of have a liking of, I like other music too, obviously, but I like classical. And Stu Phillips did that song. He did McLeod and Knight Rider as well, and very good themes for them as well. You probably remember the I'm not going to do it.
I'm a few bars. Come on.
No, I'll save you guys. But the introduction was fantastic, and I still have the LP. I have all the whole series on video too, so I really enjoy the story as well. And the introduction also in that when that music was playing with Patrick McNee. I don't know if you remember what he said, but they stuck with me for a long time. I can remember it. There are those who believe that life here began out there and far across the universe and so on. So it's one of the few movies too where the people in the movie were actually looking for Earth. Now there's a couple others like Buck Rogers and Star Trek Voyager, but that was really, I think, the coolest one. Finding the silence, and again, but getting back to that music, classical music, the other soundtrack from the movie too, with the lady guys singing, I like that as well. But that's going to the movie, of course. But what do you guys have to say about Galactica? Do you remember the theme there?
Oh, absolutely. What's interesting is, as far as it being a movie, it wasn't a movie in very many countries.
That's right.
U.S. being one of them. It was never a theatrical release in the U.S. It went straight to television in the U.S. In Canada, UK, I think Mexico, perhaps it might have been in the theaters. But I absolutely loved Battlestar Galactica. It was one of my favorite series and still is.
And the reason why they went to movie was because it was costing them so much money to make the actual first two shows that they decided to combine them and then put them in the theater so they could make some money. And they actually did make some pretty good money on that back in 78. So.
Yeah, it's interesting though that they never released it in the U.S. I don't understand why they didn't. How about you, Ken? Are you Battlestar Galactica guy?
Oh, I was a huge fan of Galactica, huge fan. It came out shortly after Star Wars, so that was right in my wheelhouse. I saw it, I don't even know how many times in the theater, probably 10 times. It played at here's one for you, Stan. It played, I showed you, remember we went to a Jets game last year, and I showed you where the theater used to be in the old convention center theater. That's where I saw that.
That's where I saw it too.
Is that where you saw it as well?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That's where I saw it as well.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about that was a pretty new theater when Battlestar Galactica was released. It had only been opened about 2 years before. I want to say 76 is when it opened. But it was one of the very first theaters in Canada with the Sensurround surround system built into it. It had the amazing sound system, and when they did release Battlestar Galactica to theaters, it was released in the Sensurround, which later became known as the 6-track Dolby Stereo and that sort of thing. And I remember hearing the music, and I'm pretty sure I went out the very next day, or certainly within the next couple of days, and picked up the soundtrack album. Stu Phillips conducting the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Amazing score, just one of my favorite scores. I still go back to it from time to time.
I have to mention too that the music was produced by Glenn A. Larson, who's very popular, very famous guy too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the creator.
Was that on your list, Ken?
As a matter of fact, yes, it is. So that's one that's off my list now. I would have absolutely gone to that. It's the only sad thing I can say about that Battlestar Galactica is that it only lasted one season from 78 to 79.
Well, then they came out with that Battlestar Galactica 80, which wasn't quite as good. The remake that they made later was actually pretty good.
You know, of the 1980 though, I like the one with Starbuck when he got lost on that planet. That was probably the best one. I think it got nominated for some awards too.
I don't think Starbuck was in the 1981.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was one episode with him. So
with Dirk Benedict playing
yes.
Starbuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, Ken, what do you have?
Up next, I'm going to start right at the top of my list, and one of my absolute favorites, also from a series that only lasted one season, sadly, but it's still well remembered. The theme from SWAT was composed by Barry Dvorzan. It was nominated for an Emmy for best television theme song. It actually hit the charts. It's a song that actually played very highly on the. It placed I don't think it made it to number 1, but I'm pretty sure it did make it into the top 10. It did crack the top 10. There's 2 versions actually released. This is something that's kind of a cool piece of trivia. The version from the TV series was sort of extended out and released as a single, kind of a disco version of the song. And then there was another version that was released in Canada only by the THP Orchestra. That's the first version that I ever heard, and then I heard the TV series later. And that one, actually, the Canadian one, did hit the number one spot on the Canadian top 10 charts, and it was a big hit in Canada. You could hear it on the radio for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and just a very catchy song. And they actually kind of referenced it in the TV series, or sorry, the movie that they made back in 2000, I want to say 2010, somewhere in that neighborhood. You actually hear them running out to the trucks, and they start kind of going da 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 da. It's a very catchy. Gets in your.
I'm glad you did that hum, because I was lost. I am not familiar with the show. I am not familiar with the theme song at all. But once you did a few hums, I know where you are now. How about you, Cory?
Yeah, I like that song too. It was produced, by the way, by Steve Barry, but also Michael Martin. If you remember, Christopher Cross, the original album that he did, was produced by Michael Martin. Mm-hmm. Also, there is a funky disco beat performed by the Rhythm Heritage, which is a five-member band, and one of the members was Ray Parker Jr., who also did Ghostbusters.
Interesting
background there. Yeah.
He must have been pretty young then.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah,
because he was young when Ghostbusters came out.
Yeah, he was. That's true. And this was going to be my number 10 thing, so you beat me to it, Ken.
Well, that's okay. You took my number 10 from me.
I still have a clean slate. You guys haven't gotten either one of any of mine yet. So my first one, this show ran from 1973 to 1982 on CBS. The theme is an iconic 1962 instrumental piece called "A Swinging Safari" by German bandleader Bert Kempfert. And I'm betting neither one of you know what TV show I'm talking about.
Oh, I think I
got me.
I knew I would get you on this.
Okay, you know.
I watched this show. I'll give you another clue. I watched this show still probably about 10 episodes a week, if not more. Mm-hmm. And we've done a whole series on this show, on the Solo Show, where we gave out the Solo Cup.
Okay.
Ken, I knew Ken would get it. The match game. The match game theme song.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, and we have our own version of the match game theme song that Ken can put in right here. Yeah. The match game. It's. I like it more because I like the show. I think the music is kind of goofy, but it's good. It's like kind of, and it's hard to hum. It's not really catchy.
No, and we want you to hum it now. Come on.
It's kind of kind of like that. But anyways, Cory, you ever watch a match game?
No, I didn't. That's why I didn't get it.
Yeah. No, I still to this day I watch it at least 10 episodes a week. It's one of my all-time favorite game shows. Yeah, I'm hooked. Gene Roddenberry, Brett Summers, and
Gene Rayburn.
Oh, I can't remember his name. Anyways, Gene Rayburn, and yeah.
Oh, Charles Nelson Riley.
That's Charles Nelson Riley. Yeah, exactly. How can I forget Charles Nelson Riley? Yeah, I absolutely love that show. Okay, Cory, your go.
Okay, I'm talking about three young ladies who were assigned very, very menial tasks. And there was a pretty big hit series with this one called Charlie's Angels. Do you remember that one? I think most people do. The theme was composed by Alan Ferguson and Jack Elliott. Unfortunately, Alan Ferguson passed away in 2010, but he composed for Barney Miller and earned 6 Emmy nominations as well for his work. So pretty popular guy. Henry Mancini released a popular 77 version of that theme, and that peaked at 45 on the Billboard charts. Something interesting there. Well, it's not really musical. The theme frequently associated with the voiceover intro was provided by actor John Forsythe as Charlie Townsend. So, again, I couldn't find a lot of information on this one, but some interesting information on that.
Very good. It was not on my list. Was it on yours, Ken?
As a matter of fact, yes, it is. John Forsythe, who actually played the lead character there, or not the lead character, but Charlie. He actually did the voiceover for the movie versions too, with Drew Barrymore and Lucy Liu and Cameron Diaz. So he kind of carried that part, and they haven't made another one since those two movies back in the 2000s. So I don't think anybody else has played Charlie since then. But that theme song was definitely on my list. Very catchy tune. Again, that kind of 70s groove to it.
Yeah. I'm beginning to think you two have the exact same list.
Yeah, I wonder. We think alike, Ken.
I'm starting to think we were maybe separated at birth.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. We went to the same movie theater together without being together. Write the same list together without being together.
We could have been in the same movie theaters together, in the, just channeling the TV stations too,
No,
somehow.
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. All right, Ken.
Next on my list is one that ran from 1974 to 1980. It's composed by one of the absolute legends of television theme songs. I consider him to be sort of the John Williams of TV theme songs. Composed by Mike Post and Pete Carpenter, it's the Rockford Files. The TV series was a big hit TV series. It lasted, like I say, from 1974 to 1980. Starred James Garner, one of my personal favorite actors. Very, very catchy tune. It's one of the very first TV theme songs that featured a synthesizer as the lead on the particular musical performance. That synthesizer was actually performed by a gentleman named Mike Lang, and he was very well known to in the film music community and as well in television. He was a studio music keyboardist who was pretty much everybody when they were doing a score, he would be one of the first people that they would call. He played on a lot of John Williams's scores. He played on a lot of Jerry Goldsmith's scores. The song itself, the theme from the Rockford Files, actually did peak on the charts at number 33. It was a pretty big hit for for an instrumental TV song. There's not a lot of them out there that actually do chart. And again, a very catchy opening to the show. And does anybody remember the little hook that came right at the beginning of the show? It was always Jim Rockford's voice answering machine. Hi, this is Jim Rockford. Please leave your message after the tone. And it would be somebody like, hey, Jim, this is so-and-so from the car dealership. Yeah, your tires are in. You can pick up the car whenever you want. And it would go right into the theme.
And that's when I would change the channel.
Not a fan, right?
I was not a fan.
Oh, wow.
I was not a fan of. I don't think I got the Rockford Files back then. Actually, even I don't think it was airing on the two channels I got on CBC and CBC French, so I wasn't able to even watch the Rockford Files. Cory, was that one on your list? I think from your expression, it might have been.
Well, I had it and then I disregarded it and I said I'm going to go with something else. So,
Okay.
when I think back, like I liked the show. But I had to actually go and see the pictures of some of the actors. Then I remember, I remember those guys being in the show. But I don't remember much about the actual storylines and things. I know he was a private detective, and he was always having troubles, obviously. But he got his man. He always got his man or woman, I guess, whatever at the time. So that was always a good thing.
Very cool. Yeah, I never got into that one. So for my next one, this was initially a theatrical short. It was released in 1964. And it won an Academy Award for the short. They realized they had a hit on their hands, so they signed a deal with NBC in 1969, featuring these shorts. Eventually, throughout history, they made 124 episodes between 1964 and 1980. And one thing that has remained the same in every one of those episodes was the music. The opening theme song, composed by Henry Mancini, which he initially did for the 1963 movie The Pink Panther theme song for the animated series on television. I never said we couldn't do animated. And everyone's familiar with the dun 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 dun. The soundtrack was released in 1964. It reached the top 10 on Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart, earning a Grammy Hall of Fame award and an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score, as well as, of course, the Oscar winner for animated. I'm assuming it wasn't on either one of your lists.
Nope, not on mine.
No, Ken?
No, you got me, and that surprises me because I'm a huge Henry Mancini fan and I love that score.
Yeah, I knew you were. I knew you were a big Mancini fan, and I knew you would like that score. So that's why I was kind of thinking, Ken might get this one, but okay, good. I'm glad I got one. I slid one in there that neither one of you thought of. All righty, Cory.
All right, I'm going to go with this one. And interestingly enough, a lot of these themes, because they're instrumental, the theme or the title of the song is themed from that particular show, I find. But anyway, this one that I'm talking about, it reached number 40 on the Billboard Adult Contemporary charts in 1982. Then disco version was released, but it didn't have a name because they felt that the producers actually felt that it captured the Ewing family power. So who am I talking about? Or what show? It's the Dallas episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which was really good. And it didn't need words, they figured. So the composer was Gerald Immel. And he also composed songs for Knots Landing and Gunsmoke too. So he had quite a history of songs as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed that show. And of course, Who Shot JR? That was a big season ender there. Probably in the early '80s, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I'm guessing might have been 1980.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And another interesting thing, just off topic of music, though, but the music was playing, mind you, when this happened. If you noticed over the years, it was about a 10-year run for that show, approximately. The Dallas skyline had to be shot and updated 3 times because, as you know, everything happens in Texas in a big way. So, of course, more and more skyscrapers were going up, so they had to reshoot the skyline.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so there you go.
There you go. A good piece of trivia. Throughout my week, I keep thinking about old TV shows from the 70s and their theme songs. And I had thought of Dallas throughout the week, but I never remembered to put it on my list. I'm glad you brought that one up, because that was one that I did think of. I just, for whatever reason, it's kind of scrolling through my list like, oh, I don't have that one. Okay. So far I'm perfect. Nobody's gotten any of mine. Alrighty, Ken.
All right.
Ken, were you a fan of Dallas?
I was a fan sort of Dallas, but honestly, I liked the music more than I liked the TV series. So
okay.
Yeah.
My mom was. My mom enjoyed watching it, but I never really got into that one.
I never got into daytime soaps, but Dallas sure caught my attention for whatever reason. It was good.
Okay. Alrighty, Ken.
Well, my next one here is another one from CBS, and actually, there's a lot of I just realized that a lot of the themes on my list are from CBS shows. So that just sort of tells me they had good taste in music. This is one I'm willing to bet is probably not on either of your lists, but I might be wrong. Ran from 1972 to 1981. It was the tale of a family growing up during the Depression, the theme from The Waltons, composed by Jerry Goldsmith. The legendary movie composer himself, Jerry Goldsmith, certainly one of the most respected film composers to ever work in Hollywood. Surprisingly, only ever won one Academy Award for his score to the... but the theme from The Waltons was actually not a huge hit. It did chart on the top 100. It actually only made it into the 50s, 55 on the top 100. But the theme itself was kind of iconic. And when you hear that trumpet lead opening the show, maybe you don't remember it. Da 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 da. That's enough, or I will get a copyright strike.
Yeah, it's so authentic.
Yeah, exactly. It sort of captured that simpler time. The orchestration is very simple. It's a very small orchestra performing that particular theme, but it was actually Jerry Goldsmith in interviews when they asked him about his TV work. He always said that was sort of one of his favorites. And it was one of the ones that he carried into his concert series all the time. He would do a TV themes medley of concerts, in concerts rather. And it was one of the ones that even long after the show had aired, that was one that he continued to play in his concert series. So I'll leave it at that and say, good night, John Boy.
That's what I was going to insert. I was going to say, good night, John Boy.
Yeah, that's another one that I thought of throughout the week, and for whatever reason, never ended up putting it on my list. But I did think of that one. How about you, Cory? Was that one on your list?
No, it was not.
And did you watch? Were you a fan?
Yeah, I watched every episode probably. To remember what happened on those episodes, I do remember one where the Hitler's book was being put down by the people, but John Boy brought out that it was a version of the Bible or something. I can't remember. There's some thing about that anyway there. I'd have to look it up. So
yeah, that was another one I never really got into, but my parents did watch, or my mom in particular. For mine, this is a long running show. I've seemed to all of mine are long running shows. This one started in 1959 and ran until 1973 and is recognized as NBC's longest running Western and is only the second longest running Western of all time, behind Gunsmoke, and that is Bonanza.
Lauren Green.
Lauren Green, speaking of Battlestar Galactica.
Yes.
A great Canadian actor who's no longer with us, unfortunately. But yeah, the Bonanza theme song, it just gets you ready for the show that's about to start. And I wasn't a big fan of Bonanza, but I did before I got into watching Match Game every day. I was watching Bonanza every day for a while there. I love my Roku, all the free TV I can watch. How about you guys? Are you fans of Bonanza at all?
Yes, I liked it, and I don't know. Lauren Green also was a radio announcer on CBC too for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that's where he got his start with CBC Radio with Haas and all them. How about you, Ken?
And a very young. I was sort of a fan. My sister was more of a fan of Bonanza than I was, but I did watch it sometimes with her. I'm not sure whether she was a fan of the show or if she was just a fan of a very young Michael Landon. That could be the case. But the show itself was fun. It was a typical 70s, 60s, 70s what do you call it? Western, very catchy song. I mean, I think whenever anybody thinks of that sort of Western kind of sounding music, they kind of do that dun 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 Bonanza. It's one of those ones we talked about this on a previous show. You and I, Stan, where we said if you listen to the theme from Superman, you can actually hear the word Superman in the music. It's the same thing with Bonanza. You can't sing that theme without going Bonanza.
Yeah. And oddly enough, when I was in Disneyland Paris, they have a Western area, and the Disneyland and Disney World in the US, they play Western music, but it's more, it's not that where they actually play the Bonanza theme song in Disneyland Paris, and they play it loud in Disneyland Paris, and it kind of takes you right back to those old Western TV shows, and they play a lot of like American Western TV theme song music in Disneyland Paris. I guess that's their version of the Old West.
You know that David Cassidy appeared on Bonanza? He was a rebellious teen, and they had to help calm him down, kind of thing. I remember hearing about that. Anyway, I hope I'm right on that. I'm pretty sure I'm right. And the other thing, Bonanza also was called Ponderosa for a while too, right?
Well, the Ponderosa was where they lived. That was the property that they owned, was the Ponderosa.
Did they not change the name of the show to Ponderosa for a couple of years, if I'm not mistaken?
Maybe, not that I'm aware of. There was a Ponderosa restaurant, and that was popular back in the day. All right, Cory.
Okay. So this one, actually, I'm going to go off script a little bit, but it'll come around. Don't worry. It actually aired from 1960 to 66, so it's out of our decade. But interestingly, the show really only became popular in the 70s, so that's why I'm bringing it in here. The first 2 years, they had an instrumental song to intro the show, but then the latter 4 years they had an actual sung version of that theme. So this I'm talking about the Flintstones. We're talking about how about that, eh? The tune was created by Hoyt Curtin, who also did the Jetsons, Huckleberry Hound Show, Yogi Bear, and Quickstra Migra, if you remember that cartoon. Love that show. Anyway, so it was called Rise and Shine. Now, of course, when it went to the sung version, it became Meet the Flintstones is the theme of that song. But you probably remember it. Fred's frantically driving home from the rock quarry, maneuvering through traffic. He settles down to watch TV, and it's a familiar, modern, suburban life, but it has a creative, historic twist, of course. And all the while, that song is singing or playing. So, it was adult orientated originally, but they tried to go more kid orientated later on, and it often mirrored the Honeymooners too in some ways.
Oh yeah.
So there you go. Yeah. So that's what I have. Also, there was a version of Rise and Shine that had lyrics, and that was released in 1961 on Golden Records, which was I can't believe it. In 1961, they released it on a 78 RPM LP. But anyway, that's one of the things there that I found. So that's what I have. Did anyone else pick the Flintstones?
Well, I like the way you cheated by taking when it's out of the decade, except when it was in the decade, it actually had lyrics. But there we go. That's all fine and good.
Hey, I should go to be a politician maybe or something.
Yeah, exactly. or a Jedi. It's from a certain point of view.
Yes, there we go. I'll hold my hand out, change the thought patterns of people.
Yeah. I did think of the Flintstones, but again, I felt it had lyrics, so I didn't think to include it. But
there you go. Now you know the first 2 years had no lyrics. Yeah. Unless you cheat again and go to that 78 RPM, then it had lyrics. So
How about you, Ken?
Well, I didn't put it on my list strictly because, because we would have included it on the first show with the lyrics, but then secondly, because it didn't fall into our decade. So I never thought to include it. If I'd known we were going
okay,
to
Dead Eye Hand Melt, my melt.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't remember that. Yeah. No, I
No
definitely
one can
didn't pick
remember
that, but I do. It is one of my favorites, and I do remember the instrumental version from when I used to watch it as a kid growing up. Yeah.
There we go.
I
Do-
think
do you-
the closing theme had the instrumental version, like they would play at the end of the.
Also, through the shows, they would have the instrumental version playing too in the background.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you remember that one episode where Fred and the kids are looking at this creek and it says, one day we'll become the Grand Canyon?
Yes,
I always got a kick out of that when I saw that.
and it's the second longest running animated show to
Simpsons.
Two?
The Simpsons,
Oh,
right?
yes, of
Yeah,
course.
Ken got it. The Simpsons. Alrighty, Ken.
My next one is actually a show that did hold and may still hold the longest running police drama on television. It ran from 1968 to 1980. It starred the legend that was Jack Lord. It was the theme for Hawaii Five-0.
It's the first one on my list.
Oh, there we go.
That you guys got.
Uh,
You got it.
Yeah, composed by Morton Stevens. The song, the theme was originally written. Actually, there were two versions. A longer version was used on the very first, I believe, 2 seasons, and then they cut it down to about a minute and a half. There was an LP released at the time. The soundtrack was very, very popular, but I think probably everybody is going to remember the re-released version, or rather the cover version that was performed by the Ventures. That one actually did hit the top of the charts. I believe it did make it to number 1, and I believe it was in 1969, not long after the series premiered. That's the version that everybody probably knows better than the actual theme for Hawaii Five-0. What was very cool was when they did the new version in the mid 2000s. I think it ran until 2012. They did an updated version of Hawaii Five-0, same characters, different actors. I remember seeing an interview. One of the first things that everybody was asking was, "Are you going to use the theme? Are you going to reuse the theme?"
Yeah.
Which, of course, they did.
They had no choice. They would have been riots if they didn't.
Absolutely. Brian Tyler, who was the series composer, lead composer, did a new arrangement of it, a much shorter version, only 45 seconds, but he captured all the high points in the theme, and one of my absolute favorite themes. It's still in my playlist when I throw on some TV themes. That one comes up quite often.
Yeah, that opening little drum, boom, right into it after. The only thing I had extra of that was, do you know why it was called Hawaii Five-0? Where does the 5-0 come from? The Hawaii is obviously because it's set in Hawaii.
Because Hawaii is the 50th state.
Correct. Yes,
I know my
it's
5-0.
the 50th state to join their union. Very good. Cory, was that on your list?
No, it wasn't. But just to tie it into Galactica again, not the original series, but the new one. Park was her last name. I can't remember her first name. Grace Park. She also played in Battlestar Galactica, the 2004 version of Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Galactica. We got to kind of carry the theme through a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. That's right.
Very good. Okay, so I guess I'm up, right?
Yep, you're up. What do you got?
Okay, so this one originally aired from 1951 to 1959. So, like Cory, I'm a little bit out of the decade.
You cheaters. You guys are cheaters.
Well, hang on. It then returned from 1969 to 1970. So it did hit the 70s. It did air in 1967. They returned it. The opening motif is often cited as the most famous form note in American television, symbolizing the show's suspenseful, just the facts tone. And that's Dragnet. Was that on your list, Ken?
Again, no, because I tend to think of Dragnet as a 50s TV series. I never think about the 70s version of it. But it probably would have been. You guys are cheaters.
Well, no, it ended in 1970, so it did hit the decade.
More of mine hit the 70s than yours did.
It's such a great iconic
Very
theme
much
song.
so.
Okay, Cory.
Okay, well, now I'm going to cheat again too, and I'm just barely going to make it into the 70s. Get Smart.
Cory has a go with me here.
Yes. We're going to see who can shave it the closest to the 70s here. So, Get Smart. You probably remember that. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I love that tune too. Yeah. So it was composed and arranged by Irvin Zathmary, and who was classically trained. Created by Mel Brooks and Buck Henry, though, and they really listened to that and they said, this got a hummability factor to it. So, and that's what they want. They want people to immediately identify the show from another room. And I think we all could do that, couldn't we? I mean, it really, you knew who it was, you knew what was coming. Due to its popularity, the theme was covered by several artists, which I didn't realize until I did some searching on this. Al Hirt, The Ventures, Hugo Montenegro, and Billy Strange all did covers, and that was back in the 60s. It had a parody tone, too, to it, which kind of gave it the Keystone Cop feel, and so that worked well with Get Smart, too, because, we got to get just that close, right? So...
Missed it by that much.
Missed it by that much. Yes, exactly. And also, I like the other one. Whereas, what part do you want me to repeat it from? From where you said, "Listen very carefully." Remember that? It was always a big thing too. Yeah,
He had a lot of good lines.
he did. Yeah.
That's the second biggest zipper I've ever saw. It's like a 20-story zipper.
Or what about the an ink pen? And the Chaos Agent would say, Get Smart would say, guess what will happen when I push the button on this pen? Ink will come out all over, right? And no, it's going to do, I can't remember what it's supposed to do.
Dead. Yeah.
It'll shoot you dead. And then he'd shoot, and then all this ink would come out over the Chaos Agent. So it's pretty funny.
Pen.
Yeah. So in '89 they had a revival too, but they repurposed the theme with Peter Rogers Melnick for the '89 TV movie Get Smart Again. So it kind of kept the same theme there too. It had a lasting impact. The tune remains legendary. It often appears in the list of the 100 greatest TV themes, and I think you probably notice that too when you're looking at the different themes and get a list of them, and you'll see it there for sure. So I really love that show. I remember lots of the show themes there.
Yeah, this one was on my list, and I'll give you credit for this one because it did originally start in 1965 and it ran for 4 years. It ran until 1969 on NBC. It then moved to CBS for 1970. So it was in 1970 for the 1 year. If you recall, in the NBC version, when Maxwell Smart pulls up at the beginning before he goes into the secret headquarters there, he drove an Opel GT, but when it went to NBC, to CBS, they reshot that, and he was now riding a Buick when for the opening theme, because Buick was a sponsor for the show, and they didn't want Maxwell Smart to be riding the Opel GT.
They obviously had some input there.
Yes, exactly. It's funny how much money can change things like that. Ken, was that on? Yeah, that obviously wasn't on your list because you took it as a '60s version.
I would have thought of it as a 60s theme song, but I'm glad somebody mentioned it. It's actually always been one of my favorites. I love the fact that they incorporated the guitar to sort of take it back to the James Bond theme there. That electric guitar is kind of right in front there, and that very kind of twangy sound like the James Bond theme. But let's be honest here. The three of us on this show right now, let's be honest, which one of us had the biggest crush on Barbara Feldon as Agent 99? Now, I'm betting it was me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I didn't have a poster of her. Did you?
I don't think they ever made one. If they had them, I would have had it.
Yeah, and maybe that was pre-poster era.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh no, they actually did though, didn't they? Because they had for the war effort, they had posters up for the war guys too in World War II, right? Or Vietnam at least. Yeah. So.
Alrighty, Ken.
Well, I'm going to stay in the 70s just because. But this is one I think you guys I'm betting is probably on both of your lists, so I'm probably taking one from both of you, so I don't feel as bad. It actually was originally composed for the film, which was released in 1971. The movie starred Donald Sutherland, and it was the theme from Map. Now,
yeah, I already checked it off.
There you go.
You got one of mine.
The funny thing about that is that it is actually a song with lyrics. The actual title of the theme from MASH is Suicide is Painless. It was composed by Johnny Mandel. The lyrics were actually written by the son of the film's director because he absolutely hated the idea of having a song in that film. He railed against the studio putting a song into that film and didn't want it, but they said, no, you have to have a song in this movie. And so after the theme was composed, he loved the score to the film that Johnny Mandel wrote. So he got his 12-year-old son. His son was 12 years old to write. He said, write whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I don't even want it. Write out whatever you want. And they recorded it, and it became the song Suicide is Painless. The melody, as soon as you hear those opening guitar notes, everybody would run into the living room, and from any time from 1972 on to 1983. It was the staple of CBS. It was in the top 10 from the second season. The very first season didn't do very well, but it did extremely well in summer reruns because it was facing up against All in the Family when it first went to air. And then people caught on to it in the summer reruns, and after that it made it to the top of the Nielsen ratings and stayed there pretty much right up until the end of the series in 1983. Theme from MASH is just one of my absolute favorites. It's a very, very pretty melody. It went through a number of different arrangements in the 11-year run of the series. If you listen to it if you ever watch the DVDs, or you can watch them, of course, on Disney Plus or no, not Disney Plus. What is it now? It's not Star anymore. Hulu, that's right. Hulu. They have the entire run of the series on Hulu, and listen to it because there's some really interesting, different little changes in the theme from the beginning. It was from about the 7th season on that they didn't make any more changes, but in the first 7 seasons, pretty much every season has a little bit of a different arrangement. Kind of cool.
I did not know there was different arrangements. That's when kind of before Bonanza, I was watching that every night before bed.
Oh yeah,
I would watch an episode or two.
Ken, did they change the time slot for them too then, so that they could have a better chance?
I believe they did. I think they pushed it back
that?
by a half hour, if I'm not mistaken, because I believe it was originally on against.
That would help too.
Yeah, I think it was on against All in the Family, and I think they pushed it back by a half hour.
Well, that's a smart move, because even though both are good, you don't want them both running up against each other. So
yeah. The other thing that was on my list, and the other thing that I found from my research was the son went on to make well over $1 million in royalties writing that song. So
nice.
Good on him. Yeah. Okay, so I only got a couple left. Well, I got more than a couple, I guess, now I look at it. So my next one is going to be, it's a gentle flute, electric piano-based song of the now famous theme. Was originally supposed to be used to introduce a guest character in one episode, but the producers liked the jazz keyboardist Bob James Angela better than his song Touchdown, which was originally supposed to be the main theme. So they made the switch, and that TV show was Taxi. Both songs can be heard on the 1978 album Touchdown. I'm only familiar with the song that we get to hear. I'm not familiar with the original one that they were planning to go with. Ken, was that on your list?
No, surprisingly, it didn't make it. It's funny. I thought of it a couple of days ago when I was looking at my list again, and I didn't put it on, and I don't remember why I decided not to put it on. It's actually a beautiful piece of music, and I agree that opening flute and electric piano. And I've got the album Touchdown that you're talking about, and I do remember Touchdown, but I don't kind of remember it right now.
Yeah. So they went with the song Angela for the opening theme, and I guess they were planning to use Touchdown, but I guess once they heard Angela, they went, that's our theme song. Yeah. And they went with that one instead. Was that on your list, Cory? Were you a fan of Taxi at all?
No, I never watched the show.
Wow.
That's a lie. I probably watched one episode, but that's about it.
Yeah. That was one that was a never miss for me. It was with Danny DeVito and Mary Lou Henner. Just about everybody went on to bigger things. Who played Latka?
That was Andy
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Of course, that's also where Christopher Lloyd got his start, and then he went on to be huge in Back to the Future. A terrific cast, a terrific
Klingon too.
And yes, that's right too. Honestly, my favorite Klingon in Star Trek 3: Search for Spock. I agree.
Yeah, I like that show too, and he played Klingon really well. So probably the best Klingon.
A lot of talent in that series. Okay, Cory.
All right. 1973 to 1978 on CBS. I'm actually staying within the decade here. Kojak. You remember that show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the theme refers to the iconic gritty funk jazz music opening of the 70s television detective drama starring Telly Savalas. I don't know if you remember him sucking on that what do you call it? Lollipop. Thank you. It's going to call it sucker, but anyway, you're right, lollipop. And do you know why he was had suck on that lollipop?
Because he couldn't smoke.
That's right. He couldn't smoke on screen, and he was trying to quit anyway. So, but anyway, yeah. So that's why that ended up being there, and that was like really that stuck with him. Like, I mean, that was his thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the original theme was composed by Billy Goldenberg, and he was a prolific composer, conductor, and songwriter too. As an example, he did Rhoda, the theme there, and also for Columbo, several of the episodes of Columbo. The atmosphere, yeah, I would tend to agree. I don't know if you remember 70s New York City, very gritty, a lot of murder being happening there. They kind of put that into a better place eventually once they got into the 80s and 90s. But as far as that was concerned, it was gritty, it was urban, it was New York City with the sound of that theme. And it reflects a cool, no-nonsense, cynical nature that the old Kojak actually portrayed. So it was very good. The theme became synonymous with 70s crime dramas and is often associated with the lollipop persona of the lead character. So he tried to quit smoking, and that's why that lollipop was there.
Yeah. That's one I never really got into as well. I wasn't a big fan of the police dramas or hospital dramas. I'm still not a big fan of police dramas or hospital dramas. Ken, was that on your list, or were you a fan?
I never was a fan of Kojak specifically. I do remember the theme, and I might have. I don't think I did put it on my list or ever meant to. But my mother was actually a big fan of police dramas, so we watched pretty much everything. At least the first season. But for some reason, she never really got into Kojak. I don't know why, but that was not one of her favorites. But who remembers his catchphrase?
I knew there was one. I just can't remember what he said.
Who loves you, baby?
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
You know, it was funny when Cory was talking about it, that's all I could think of was a catchphrase. And as soon as you asked a question, I couldn't remember.
And see, I knew there was a catchphrase, but I could not put two and two together to figure out what he said, and I'm glad you remembered. Excellent. Yeah. I remember sitting down, I can't remember what night it was, but it was always on at night, and I'd get my bowl of Pep cereal and some sugar on top and start eating that while I watched the show. So,
yeah. It's good to have those old memories like that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty, Ken. We've got room for a couple more here.
Alrighty. Next one for me is another cop drama. It ran from 1972 to 1977. It starred an Academy Award-winning actor, Carl Malden. It also starred Michael Douglas in one of his very first roles. And it later starred, in the last couple of seasons, it starred Richard Hatch, who, of course, going back to our Battlestar Galactica theme, went on to star in Battlestar Galactica. It's The Streets of San Francisco, composed by Patrick Williams. The show ran from 1972 to 1977. Patrick Williams, actually no relation to the legendary John Williams. But the series was sort of very popular because it presented a very realistic approach to police drama, where everybody had sort of known the just the facts ma'am approach of Dragnet and then the over-the-top violence on some of the police shows at the time. Streets of San Francisco was very much focused on the actual police work that was involved. It became very popular in that way, and it was actually surprisingly very popular with members of the police force at the time. They felt that the show didn't hype up the action aspect of it too much. It wasn't always about the car chases. It wasn't always about the big fights in whatever sequence it was. It was about the actual procedure of tracking down criminals, and it was very popular for that more realistic approach to it. The theme had a very kind of a big band sound to it, sort of a large brass section, and just a very driving rhythm to it. And one of my favorite shows when I was growing up. And again, I loved the theme from The Streets of San Francisco.
Yeah, that's another one. Go ahead, Cory.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, you mentioned how it wasn't always about the car chases, but that's what I remember. But I remember them going over the top of the hill and coming down the hills there, because that's what San Francisco is. There's lots of hills.
Yeah.
So And the slow chase that they had to do on Lombard because, of course, it's zigzagged, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, police drama. I didn't watch it. I don't even remember the theme song, to be honest.
Oh, I don't know if I can hum it
I
right
have
now.
to agree. I don't remember the theme song either.
I don't think I can hum it right now. It's not one that's kind of hummable, but it's one that's catchy
Okay.
once you get it in your head.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it. Alrighty. So my next one was originally a 1968 movie. It then went on became a TV series. The person that wrote the 60s Batman TV theme song also wrote this theme song, and that's for The Odd Couple. I got one of Cory's.
Yeah, you got one of mine. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's a comedy show in the 70s, so I watched it.
That was a good show for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a bit of a voiceover at the beginning, but then it kind of went into the theme song.
yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Ken?
Oh, I absolutely. That was one of the shows I watched every single week, every single episode. I watched it in reruns for a long, long time. And that's definitely one of the most iconic themes. Is it whenever, just for an example, when I was working in radio a number of years back, whenever you wanted to do something where you would talk comedically about an odd pairing, a strange wedding or whatever, you'd always throw that theme song back in the background. That da-da-da-da-da, as soon as anybody heard that, they knew where you were going. Yeah, that's an absolutely iconic one. And again, I don't know why I didn't put that on my list, to be honest.
There's so many. That's why.
Yeah.
There's so many. Okay, Cory, this is your last one.
Okay. So I'm going to go with Bionic Woman. Okay. So the series featured work from two major television composers. Jerry Fielding wrote the original opening and closing themes. Joel Hamill took over the musical duties midway through the season one and wrote new opening and closing themes for the second season. Music, particularly in the opening, was designed to blend with the distinct electronic slow motion sound effects, the bionic sound that we heard whenever Jamie used her abilities. In 78, Columbia Records released the 45 RPM record in Japan, and it featured two songs performed in Japanese titled Jamie's Love and At the Time of Kindness. I didn't realize that until I did some digging on this, that Japan was a big place for Bionic Woman.
Mm-hmm.
They're now considered cult classics of the 70s Japanese pop era. So she had a real following there. That robotic sounding voice describing what was shown on screen was kind of included in that too for those two songs, or at least one of the two songs. And the first season had a more traditional action spy theme. The music evolved to become more whimsical or dramatic as it went into the second season, especially when they got that bionic dog. If you remember Max, the bionic dog.
Oh, I forgot about that, but now
That's
I do
right,
remember.
yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had forgotten too until I did some digging on this, and he was included in the third season.
How is the bionic dog not more popular these days?
They should have made a cartoon out of that, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did. It was what was that? Like, it was like Scooby Doo, but it was a Dino Mutt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So interesting too. ABC premiered the show in '76, but it moved to NBC for '77 and '78 seasons. So,
It's crazy to think about these TV shows changing network.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You don't really hear like Survivor's on CBS. You never see Survivor all of a sudden. We're on ABC now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen these days.
No.
Yeah.
I guess maybe she was. I think her ratings were starting to go down a bit because they'd already had a few years of the $6 Million Man, and maybe the whole scenario was kind of going down. That's why they added the dog too in the third season.
Mhm.
That's exactly why they added the dog in the third season.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna do different this year, boys.
Yeah, usually you add the cute girl, when things are going downhill, right? And hoping that would bring things back. But in this case, they added the dog.
Yeah,
So,
I was going to say, are they either going to introduce a kid or they're going to introduce a pet?
Yeah.
Those are the two.
That's
two
right.
choices.
Like in the Brady Bunch, the last season, they added that kid, and
Yeah.
Robbie Wrist, and then he was also in Galactica 1980.
There
getting
you
back
go.
to the
There you
Galactica.
go.
There you are. It all comes back to Battlestar Galactica. Alrighty, Ken, what's your last one?
My last one I'm going to throw out here is it was a show that it was so hokey that you just kind of had to watch it. It was just so more silly cop show procedural. The theme from Chips, composed by John Parker, from 1977 to 1983. It ran. It followed, of course, the adventures of members of the California Highway Patrol, which is where Chips comes from. That actually is their nickname. If you look at the opening credits, the C, H, and P are capitalized, but the I and the S are in smaller case letters because CHP, of course, stands for California Highway Patrol. The composing duties were taken over I believe it is the third season, so that would have been 79, by a very young but extremely well-known composer by the name of Alan Silvestri. He took over, and that was one of his very first jobs in television as a composer. He had been an arranger, and he had helped to arrange the original theme from Chips in 1978. And that was when he ended up getting the job taking over as the series composer in 1979. Theme from Chips is one of those kind of disco themes. I don't remember if it charted, and I never did look it up, but I don't think it actually did hit the charts. But it was, again, one of those catchy, sort of funky, synth-driven disco themes, and a lot of fun. And the show was just hokey, silly fun, too. So
Yeah. I had thought of Chips, and the only reason why I thought of Chips was because one of the co-stars of Chips was on Match Game recently in the reruns. And I meant to, hey, I wonder what that theme song is like. And I never did go back to listen to the theme song, never did watch the show. So it was not on my list. How about you, Cory? Were you a fan of Chips?
Yeah, I watched Chips. It was a good show, fun show to watch.
Yeah. So for my last one, oh my gosh. Well, I'm going to go with the one that I probably watched the most out of the three I have left. And it starts off with a bass, boom, 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 boom. Then it goes to the saxophone, and that's the opening theme song to Barney Miller. I absolutely loved watching Barney Miller. It's one of the greatest comedy shows ever. And the theme song is just as good. How about you guys?
Reload the pep in the cereal. I love watching it too. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah,
pop a bowl of popcorn, and I'm there. Yeah, you got it. Actually, that one was on my list. Yeah, another one by Jack Elliott and Alan Ferguson. Again, really iconic.
And the way that came to be was when they were recording the opening theme, that opening bass wasn't supposed to be part of it. And the bass player was just kind of riffing, doing that boom, 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 boom. And the producer told him, he goes, hey, this is a guy cop in New York. Let's start off with that bass. For whatever reason, he associated that opening thing as a guy cop from New York. But that was what he said, pretty much word for word was, yeah, this is a show about a guy cop in New York. Let's start with the bass. And that's what they went with. So it was kind of like just by happenstance. Really quick, without any details, honorable mentions. Cory, you have any?
Yeah, $6 Million Man would be another one I'd talk about.
Okay, anything? Yeah. What else?
Can't think of anything else right now, okay. But the $6 Million Man for sure.
Yeah. How about you, Ken?
My one honorable mention that I'll throw in there was one of the ones that was still left on my list is the theme from Barnaby Jones. It was composed by Jerry Goldsmith, ran from 1973 to 1980. Another one that he used to play in his television theme song medley in concert.
Yeah. Very good. I got two left on my list. I think it's only two. Yeah, only two left. From the 70s would be Doctor Who opening theme.
Nice.
They're still using it today, basically like a version of it today. I mean, it's been redone so many times. And then for my other one, Mission Impossible is, I think that's 70s. There you go. That's all you got to say, and everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yep.
I think it's the 70s too.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty, Cory, thank you for joining us.
Love to do it. Yeah, perfect.
Alrighty. Ken, thank you again for coming on.
Anytime, Stan.
Good times. I did have a listener write to us, Ray, message us. He says, hey, listen, I really enjoyed your 70s theme song. He's looking forward to the next one. And he suggested that we do, for our next one, he suggested that we do like not one-liners, but catchphrases. Yes. He suggested we do a catchphrase episode.
Okay, I've got McLeod. There you go. Right?
You can do all the cop ones you want. I don't know any of them. So I think maybe we'll come back in about a month or so, and we'll do a catchphrase episode. What do you guys think?
Well, I hope I can find it. I guess they're out there. I just never really thought. I remember McLeod for sure. Always there you go, right? But there's other ones obviously. We'll see what we can come up with. Sure.
Yeah. What you talking about, Willis?
Yep.
Yeah, there's another one. Okay, good.
And then the next one we got to do after that, Stan, is we got to do the 80s TV themes.
Is there 80s TV themes?
Okay. Oh, goodness, there's so many. Oh, my goodness, there's so many.
Alrighty.
We may
Ken,
have to go. We may have to go to the ones that are kind of late 70s, early 80s, maybe. Do the cheat again.
alrighty. Ken, seeing as you're here, take us away.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us about your idea for a show and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Don't forget to join us on YouTube, like us and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a new show. All logos, songs, music, and sounds that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by the Solo Show podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.